Welcome back. I'm Josh Reef. Today I want to talk about something every real estate agent eventually experiences. The deal that falls apart. And not the small kind. I mean the one that was basically done in your head. The commission was already mentally deposited. Maybe you had already paid off a bill with it. Maybe you had already justified a dinner, a golf round, or something from Amazon that arrived suspiciously fast. And then suddenly the escrow collapses. Buyer gets cold feet. Inspection goes sideways. Financing falls apart. Seller changes direction. And something happens. And now that deal is sitting in the sand trap. So today we are talking about the sand trap recovery. Because in golf, every player ends up in the bunker. The question is, can you recover with control? That is the same question in real estate. When a major setback happens, can you stay calm, read the situation, choose the right shot, and get yourself back in play? That is what this episode is all about. In golf, when your ball lands in the sand, the first mistake is rushing. You walk up annoyed, you grab the club, you start swinging at your feelings, and usually the ball stays in the bunker like it's signed a lease. Real estate setbacks work the same way. When a deal falls apart, the first move is assessment. Read the lie. What actually happened? Was it price? Was it inspection? Was it financing? Was it communication? Was it fear? Was it timing? Was it that it was a weak buyer? A seller who needed more clarity? Was there something in the deal that was fragile from the beginning? This is where a professional agent slows down enough to see clearly. Because the goal is not to react fast. The goal is to respond well. A setback gives you information, and information is useful when you are calm enough to read it. Now here is the leadership moment. Own the bunker. That does not mean blame yourself for everything. It means take responsibility for the next move. There is a big difference in real estate when something falls apart. It is very tempting to spend the whole afternoon building a courtroom in your head. The buyer should have done this. The lender should have done that. The other agent should have communicated better. The inspector should have had slightly less dramatic language. And sometimes you may be right. But leadership asks a better question. What is mine to control now? That is where power comes back. Can I call the seller and steady the situation? Can I get clearer facts? Can I update the strategy? Can I call backup buyers? Can I improve the showing process? Can I reposition the listing? Can I prepare better next time? Owning the bunker means I am here. I see the situation. I am choosing the next shot. That is professional resilience. In a sand trap, you do not just grab any club. You choose the right club for the lie, the distance, and the shot you need. Real estate recovery works the same way. Every setback does not need the same response. Sometimes the right club is a calm seller call. Sometimes it is a price adjustment conversation. Sometimes it is simply calling every agent who showed the property. Sometimes it is going back to your top buyer leads. Sometimes it is tightening the disclosures, repair strategy, or property story. Sometimes it is stepping back and saying, this listing needs a new launch plan. That is strategy. The agent who panics starts swinging randomly. The agent who leads chooses the right club. And yes, sometimes the right club is simply taking 10 minutes before you send the text you absolutely should not send. That is a very underrated club. I recommend keeping it in the bag. The goal of a bunker shot is simple. Get the ball back in play. You do not need to make the shot of your life. You need to give yourself a next shot. That is a powerful lesson. After a deal collapses, the goal is not to solve your entire business in 1 hour. The goal is to create movement. Here are the recovery moves. Call the client, tell the truth clearly, separate facts from emotion, identify the next best option, create a short action plan, re-engage the market, follow up with every warm lead, update the messaging if needed, get the property, the buyer, or the opportunity back in play. Simple, clear, professional, because when things fall apart, clients are watching. They want to know, can this agent lead under pressure? Can this agent stay steady? Can this agent protect me when the easy path disappears. That is where trust is built. Not only when everything is smooth, but when the sand is deep and the lie is ugly. Now, this is where the setback can become useful. A failed escrow can teach you where the next opportunity is. Maybe the price was too ambitious. Now you have market evidence. Maybe the buyer pool spoke clearly. Now you know the objection. Maybe the property needed a better story. Now you can improve the presentation. Maybe your pipeline was too thin. Now you know how to build backup demand before you need it. Maybe one deal fell apart, but the conversations around it created 3 new opportunities. That is the strategic win. The sand trap recovery is not just getting out. It is learning from the lie. A good agent says, "What did this teach me?" A stronger agent says, "How do I use this lesson to create the next win?" Because sometimes the setback is the exact moment that forces better strategy, better pricing, communication, better qualification, better follow-up, leadership, and honesty. And yes, better nerves. Real estate has a way of giving everyone a nervous system inspection. No appointment needed. So here's the practical framework. The next time a major deal hits a wall, use the sand trap recovery. Step 1, read the lie. What actually happened? Step 2, own the bunker. What is yours to control now? Step 3, choose the right club. What response fits this situation? Step 4, get back in play. What action creates movement today? Step 5, learn from the shot. What will you improve next time? That is the framework. Read the lie, own the bunker, choose the club, get back in play, learn from that shot. Simple enough to remember, strong enough to use. Here is the part I really believe. Your reputation is built in recovery. Anyone can smile when the deal is easy. Anyone can feel confident when escrow is smooth. But when the deal gets messy, your leadership becomes visible. How you communicate matters. How you handle pressure matters. How you quickly organize the next step matters. How calmly you explain reality matters. That is what clients remember. They may not remember every email. They may not remember every showing, but they remember how you made them feel when things got difficult. That is why setbacks matter. They give you a chance to show who you are when the shot is not perfect. And in this business, that is gold. So let me bring this home. Every agent ends up in the sand trap. A deal falls apart, a buyer disappears, an escrow collapses, a listing stalls, a client changes direction. That is part of the game. The win is in the recovery. Read the lie, own the bunker, choose the right club, get the ball back in play, learn from the shot. That is how a setback becomes strategy. That is how pressure becomes leadership. That is how a difficult moment can become the beginning of your next win. I'm Josh Reef. Thank you for joining me. This is the Josh Reef Real Estate Podcast. My goal is to help us think more clearly, lead with more confidence, and build a better real estate business one shot at a time. Subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you on the next one.